But my father and my mother said we learn to love each other. So Harry, I'll ask you, do you love me?
Do I what?
The Hungarian people, they were very, very anti-Semitic. And as soon as the Germans came into Budapest in October 1944, they started going around killing Jews. Now, I was 6 years old. My father, being Jewish, all the Jewish males were taken to labor camps. So it was just my mother and me and my sister. We were in this apartment house, and Juden rose. There was, Jews come out. All Jews had to come out of the building, and we had to raise our hands and walk in the middle of the street. They lined the street and they're yelling, "Dirty Jews! You should all burn!" And all. These are our neighbors. They took us to a courtyard, and there was a big basket in the middle of the courtyard, and we all had to pass through and take out all our jewelry and throw it into the basket. My mother told me she was afraid that we were all going to get shot and killed. But so happened they didn't. They took all our jewelry in the basket and left. When my mother found out that the Germans were shipping Jews to Auschwitz and all that, we got Christian papers, I don't know how, and we stayed by a Christian family. We lived in that attic for about 2-3 months. And we had the only thing we ate was, there was a whole barrel of onions up there in the attic. And the people that lived downstairs used to bring up bread and milk once in a while. And that's what we survived on. Well, I was like running back and forth, a little kid, and my mother was tearing her up. You don't run, they're gonna hear about, But it wasn't, what can I tell you? It was terrible. I'm a little boy that age, just sitting in an attic all the time. After about 2-3 months, the people downstairs came and said, "You have to get out of here because they're looking for Jews everywhere in all the countryside. So you can't stay here no more." Because if they ever find us with the family, they would have killed them also.
And these people did not hide them for the goodness of their hearts. Yeah. They hid them being paid off with things, that they had brought with them. So that's why they kept them.
We had to leave. We went back to Budapest. It got worse and worse. We almost had nothing to eat at all. I used to tell my mother, "Please, just give me a piece of bread, a roll." She said, "Don't worry, son, one day this will be over and you'll be saved and everything will be okay." But luckily, we were in a building where I think it was protected by Wallenberg. And that's how we survived. So in January 1945, the Russians came and liberated Budapest. In the last 3 weeks before we were liberated, there was door-to-door fighting in Budapest. So I remember when we were liberated, when we went out the next day, there were dead soldiers, Hungarians, Russians, Germans, civilians, all over the streets. My father, when he came back after the liberation, he changed. He was like a different man. And when we said, we don't want to stay in Budapest anymore, we want to leave, he said, "No, I'm not leaving." And my aunt advised my mother, you got to leave, you can't stay here anymore, you got to get out of this country. So we hired this Russian soldier, he had a truck, and he took us over the border to Vienna. From Austria, we went to Germany in the DP camp. And we were there for a couple of years. And then in 1949, we came to the United States.
He wasn't allowed to go out with girls. And that yeshiva would follow boys around, and they would be reprimanded and punished if they ever went out with a girl or spoke to one. But I guess my husband was smitten with me because he took me to Radio City Music Hall, and he bought me a gardenia corsage, and Kanahara were married 58 years. And thank God, with God's help, we have 7 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and this little Yoni Shmini, Yoni the baloney.
We have 4 grandsons, 1 granddaughter. 4 great-grandsons, 4 great-granddaughters.
Go away from me.
These are pride and joy.